Okay, everyone, here we go. So make sure you have your paper and pencil ready to work. And you know, it's funny because automatically I see a mistake here that we're going to correct, right? This one step should not be here. So let me make this bigger here. All right. One step should not be here because these are not one-step inequalities. These are multi-step inequalities. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do multi-step inequalities. So forgive this big blotch there, but that's what we're going to do. So let's review our notes on less than and greater than, right? So when we use our left hand, we make the less than sign. And we open circle and we shade to the left. We can also use our left hand to make our less than or equal to symbol. Less than or equal to. And when we have less than or equal to, we do a closed circle and we graph to the left. Right? Let's not forget that. Graph to the left. So we know that we shade left on the number line, right? When we use our left hand, right? Left hand means left, right? Less than. Okay? So when we use our right hand, we make this symbol here. And that's the greater than symbol. And for that one, we do an open circle and we shade to the right. So when we use our right hand, we shade right. Greater than, right? We also use our right hand to make the greater than or equal to symbol. So greater than or equal to. All right? Greater than or equal to. And that is going to be a closed circle. And we shade to the right. So we know we shade right on the number line, right? So we have these notes here, right? Left hand, right hand. Left is less than, right hand is greater than. Yes, okay. And we remember that when we divide or multiply by a negative, right? When we divide or multiply by a negative, flip the sign. Flip, not flips. Oh, flips. Dividing by or multiplying by a negative flips the sign, right? So if you start off with less than, but you divide or multiply by a negative, that becomes greater than, right? If we start with a greater than or equal to, but then you divide by a negative, that becomes a less than or equal to, right? So those are rules that we've gone over in the past, right? So let's see what that looks like with multi-step inequalities. So I am going to rewrite my inequality here. 10 plus 3m is less than or equal to 4. So I'm going to draw my line of separation. I'm not going to do my arrow yet because I'm not sure whether I have to flip it or not, right? So remember that I do my whatever step is with my letter, with my variable last. So that means I got to move this 10 over and make it a negative 10. So a 4 and a negative 10 are not the same sign, so I have to subtract. So 10 minus 4 is 6. And it's a negative 6 because 10 is bigger. Now I still have my 3m here. So let's not forget that 3m means 3 times m. And the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I cross out 3, and I actually, you know what? Let me draw this 6 a little smaller there. And I divide by 3. So I'm left with m. This 3 is not a negative. So that means that this arrow is going to stay the same. So I can write it as, oops. So let me draw my arrow here, and let me draw my m here. So I can draw my arrow the same, just like this. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. And this is perfect because my m is already on the left side. See? So this is my solution. Now I just have to graph this guy. So I know because it has a less than or equal to, it's going to be a closed circle on positive 2. So closed circle on positive 2. So where is, wait a minute, did I do something wrong? Oh my gosh, look at me. A negative divided by a positive is a negative 2. So on negative 2, we're going to have a closed circle. Just like that on negative 2. Now, which way are we going to graph? Which hand do we use to make these scissors right here? Right? We use our left hand. Right? Look at this symbol. That one looks like that one. And we use our left hand. So we're going to graph left. So that means that I'm going to graph this way, left. So it's going to go all the way over like that. And there you go. We have solved this multi-step inequality. Perfect. Remember, rewind if you need some more practice to do this problem again. All right? So let's try this one now. So let's rewrite it again as well. So negative 4 greater than or equal to negative 5 plus x over 6. Right? So let's draw our line of separation here, just like this. I'm not sure what the arrow is going to look like, so I'm going to wait. So remember, we're going to save whatever is with the letter with the variable last. So I'm going to move this negative 5 over and make it a positive 5. So cross out negative 5, and I'm going to make it a plus 5. So a minus 4 and a positive 5 are not the same sign, so I have to subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now I still have my x over 6 here, right? So this means x divided by 6. What is the opposite of dividing? The opposite of dividing on the right side is multiplying on the left side. So I'm going to cross out 6, and I'm going to multiply by 6. So since this is not a negative, see, I'm not multiplying by a negative here, this arrow is going to stay the same. Right? So I can write this arrow the same. So my x comes down, and 6 times 1 is 6. And there we go. But wait a minute, I made a mistake here. My x is on the right side. I want my x to be on this side. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use you guys know, I'm going to use a mirror. So when I put my mirror down, that means that everything flips. My x is going to be first now. My arrow is going to flip the other direction, and my 6 goes second. This is my final solution right there. Right? That's my final solution. So I'm going to graph. So I know I'm going to have a closed circle on 6. So let's find 6 here, and let's do a closed circle. And which hand do I use to make this arrow here? I use my, here it is, look, left hand, right? I use my left hand. So I'm going to shade left. And it goes like that. And I just shaded left. And there you go. Look at that. We have the first 2 examples done on these notes. Finally, let's do one more. Let's do one more example here. Example number 3. All right, so let's recopy. All right, let's recopy our -71 is less than -3 minus 4x. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line of separation. So I know that I'm going to do this -4x because it has the x second. So that means I got to move this -3 over and make it a +3, just like that. So I'm going to cross out -3, and I'm going to say +3. So a -71 and a +3 are not the same sign, so I have to subtract. 71 minus 3 is 68. And it's a -68 because 71 is bigger and 71 is a negative. So I still have -4x here on the right side. So we know that -4x means -4 times x. And the opposite of multiplying is dividing by -4. Now, look what I did here. I divided by -4. That means that this arrow, I'm going to flip it and do it this way now because I divided by a negative. So I'm going to write it this way now. So my x comes down now, right? Because I'm left with x. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 48 divided by 4 is +17. So, +17. But I notice that my x is not on the left. I want my x to be here. So, you guys call it, you guys know it. We have to use a mirror. Right? So with that mirror, I can write x, and I flip my arrow, and I write 17. And this is my solution. Right? So when I graph, I know it's going to be a closed circle because look, there's no line under the x. So closed circle on +17. So when I go to +17, I'm going to do an open circle on +17 because I have no line here. So it's going to be an open circle. And which hand do I use to make this arrow here? I use my left hand. There it is, look. Left hand. So I'm going to graph left. So I graph left, and there you are. And that is my solution for those three. And those are my notes for multi-step inequalities.